Angelo Badalamenti.
Angelo Badalamenti.
We say, oh, that's it. Oh, it's so beautiful. Angelo. Oh, he's tearing my heart out. I love that. Just keep it going. Now, she's starting to leave. So far down. Keep falling. Keep falling. Keep falling. Now go back into the darkness.
Mr. Lynch, lives will be live forever. Good morning, Mr. Simply, Mr. Simply, or 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 simply, is the not inch. It's February 5th, so the 5 days is February 6, 2026, and it's Tuesday, forse mid sky. Perhaps one for me means equivalent variable. I means fact a day clear alternate sunny or clear day alternate with or two cloudy day scatters in general. Fact it's easy to do at least at the moment. Also similar now. Perhaps with the wind colony consider period. Perhaps more vivid and cold colony, and it's it's noon and soon 43 minutes. 55 for Fahrenheit 13 Celsius. It means it's really cold. Can you see fact cold scaggiati su the winter period so sta cosa frio secondo si effect c'è da fuori a June 17 so che teoria perché verso fact vedere passa per last passame in generale summer last passame absolutely non if follow me non last passame I think body also fact perché fuori a so se di nuovo now also the winter perché them to be in December in particular 16 43 4 and 3 p.m. in Italy. Adesso perhaps non remember body sono pure vicini supposedly I'm sure to as you remember the things let's also say some intense my proposal that we should watch it's a better perhaps for me I didn't necessarily enter the issues for some spring some Newton is fucking spring su se ci sta soft per some agitato for the wood one second ci soft so that in general si si ripete se cagite se cade di grisa 3 minuti sa fi consiglio fi per absolutely incomplete but not because it's winter it's cold so it's a contrary we should complain we complain. But when I see the sentence absolutely incomplete, I'm referring to separate in particular for disappear for disappear for fact I don't feel cool with feel cool less and I appear thanks to series of practice but to practice I follow losing some years which will start for the good and like having winter period with with reports weird I always try to comment which I can be try to practice in this case I would fix a goal in the first part of this comment with an asterisk so the asterisk so if someone is interested in try to practice in this case the first part of this comment repeat with an asterisk. Ora non fosse la più volete finché non mi così fa che il cold volete finché di essere non penso da finché 90% dei feel cold ovvero in genere in some way for me was good instead but scatto sotto sfiangetto e I don't know if I can say same thing as for it's good but not complete if I can be free some things on this Gradi afferma finché la temperatura non si dice e pizza ci si fuori 55 for 13 Celsius Alta, riporti in questa atmosfera si anticipati si fuori due che dice Essi si portano zone di curte in genere femminilizzata mi sciusa atmosferica se si suppose fa caso da ripeti si sky I repeat si just before to with more to is it's middle sky sunny atmosphere more sun alternated with the clouds tour with the clouds viceversa but considering the last days according to considerability consumer sensation certain think it's possible I'm not sure that later in the afternoon because it's a really early afternoon but became if you're not totally really close totally cloudy sky fact totally cloudy sky atmosphere du sollte mal drin, ich finde das Film, sagt man, die think we're close. Let's see what will happen in the next few years. But as we know, we can't so with that, so it's really clients comes today. Yeah. Well, Ben, at the moment, so better contra bad well. Or well, maximum atmosphere bad, but in general, well, bad, well. So this is from the Giovine nu at kurtin in frasa mix to nuances in kurtin stasso na one magari insomma was birthday the previous particular third birthday and the previous was only for was no as it was a beautiful day kurtin beautiful painted range we branches but the penal the bus truck from impression kurtin looting is really meant to read the things when my comments come section should be one to turn first comment perhaps for to comment one of them to read one section and if you can see or notice the read was shot near me if you yes from later if you yes see the green flowers longer flowers mixed with the plants or if not even better surely better is the shot like the first shot is the shot through which Verusha showed you the first part of the video to which Verusha showed to you the weather described as changing from this classic mythical window this classic mythical room because perhaps as absolutely is also a mythical window the other mythical room. From a broader perspective, also from a practice shot similar to the classical shot of an entire secured for the scrutiny bit before the routine before plantation suppose for the first routine also the parts of the routine and if I remember exactly this sure the routine is still in government originally one day sono diventato changed I was seeing this shot was related to the fact of when there is a glory shot and also when there is but more when there is because if si measure adesso si read the latest picture sent so si chiese for the scrutiny bit beautiful routine beautiful painted benches perhaps so is for the routine lo studio the what's called routine if si chiese remember exactly this and now si read it did also for this routine so yes sorry I repeat the expression also in for 5 times yes. And is a little picture sentence is this but also and always better visible for me in its entirety in its shot at this point is mythical legendary shot. Si guarda che riuscito nel televisivo per fatto musica in televisione first days last October per importa tutto per supporto solo di televisivo e now si delle test special sente si guarda l'ultimo favorito because so value so favorito ripeto once again but also and always better visible for me it's entirety in this shot si consi mythical the general shot. And finally, from a mythical keyboard, the MGX 640 PG 635 also 6 micro regional shot. Badalamenti.
Angelo Badalamenti.
I got idea, man. You take me for the walk under the sycamore trees. The dark trees that bloom, baby. In the dark trees that blow, and I'll see you, and you'll see me.
Yeah, getting only people for the words. Still getting it where. So I'm going to so myself, was and family. You will get the breakfast. Weet, weet je wel, als we maar vakken zien lid in informatie en if is mijn pins dat was zijn beter plan to kaje voor vestan it's late in general and all for the record but not to rumors was rumors so kind of normality make breakfast in this video so kind of make best for me because these hours what sembra not it's late batte ball important west fare il gioco ci sembra che tu essere fa con Max Fenton seguita si rifiuta di Fenton mette in chimica di Fenton in parte member di est così est sin che tre gol zero semana tutti so sa già ma tu ripeti close di record verti close di record later so massive si mette a minuto this is just before more than yes they're just roll you obviously just include 13:43 minutes. But the important thing is shows the members that in some way also today fortunately so I'm really angry and as we must see che fa sono most things for absolutely so no so most money at this point I think more than 1 year as I always was most of the thing like effect of the X for me reason Friday also for the no reason but at the moment it's better the X for me reason it was the 50th so with the words beautiful black I don't so much sense different amount in comparison with the December members to me the first one and the second one all things that that perhaps no follow me in particular fact in France with otherwise think boy as in general boy follow or watch medias but within yes this should be the time the video at the promise we had 1 day of 90 persone stiamo cercando su quattro presidenti di things with the speech fissare short so bisogna si gioco arto ammazzo mania ma insomma nessuno fa usare bis sarà mai fatto tra membri come su questo insist perché tu hanno messo in mezzo che sta messo su ciò che cookies do cookies chocolate chips e fatto mistake lo so fatto bis su messaggi but in particolare I think that really will say red and these persone but milk fats which shots non get coffee tutto senza chocolate for just che si può notare non c'è frequenza short ne viene frase finché se venite monza su che lo sto conosci mi state biro la zona diventava c'è per esempio dopo sono more quick definition now there is one second so brutti tu anzi finché 212 13 14 days as 13 14 15 days so lo sto punto should be this the time the biro sono da c'è per esempio so in certi momenti c'è iPad in certi once again milk so very good news e quindi si usa per breakfast volesse bomba se in particolare a mega bomba lo sono si chiede let's period gioco gioco in bostonia so of course anything for first time so at period and if insomma non so che tolle di cose breakfast però è mega bomba secondo thing about sia perché any if there be sia stata con and Italian sia mi sa se questa position perhaps so che serve di pam di space position ma già serve questa position because altre space position mi da Italian pam da chocolate chip si rasa Fa così, a 2 comandi al motivo because e a really super bar.
And I see you, and you see me, and I see you in the branches that blow. In the breeze, I see you in the
Siłą, to małe, co jest w Drive, kanał, to mało, to kanał, lepiej. Miał Odyssey.